right? Okay, sir, please be loaded, right? I hope yesterday, in the yesterday's class, Python installation and introduction, Jupyter Notebook introduction has been completed. So somebody is saying that Likita, so yesterday class I didn't attend it. Okay, no problem. So yesterday only Python introduction and installation has been completed. So not at all problem. We didn't cover nothing much in yesterday's class. So no problem about that. Fine. So shall we continue the session? So I hope everyone has installed Jupyter Notebook. Once more repeat, sir, class. Yeah, if there are any concepts we can repeat. So actually, yesterday has been completed only in the introduction of Python. So Python introduction means you already know that Python is a general purpose programming language. It is one of the programming language which is having high demand in recent times because due to its different applications in the real world scenario, like machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science, all these things.
Sir, voice clearly, sir. Your voice not clear, sir. Please check one. Sir, voice not audible, sir.
Just I lost my internet connection. Sorry for the interruption. So let us continue now. Uh, so somebody is asking that just explain us previous class. Previous class nothing much we have discussed. Just we have completed the introduction and installation of Python. So let me open Jupyter Notebook. All of you people also open it. You can open Jupyter Notebook directly from your desktop applications. I hope you all are using Windows operating systems. So go to Windows applications. Let me share the screen. So here screen sharing, I think. So all of you open your Jupyter notebooks. Is my screen visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Visible, sir.
Okay. Okay, so no problem. Here the problem is my Anaconda is getting some error. So no problem. Let me open first command prompt. So I am showing now you how to install Jupyter Notebook if Python is installed in our systems. Here in my system Python has been installed. Now I am going to install Jupyter Notebook. So Jupyter Notebook can be installed by using pip command. Okay, pip is the package manager in Python. So by using this, we can install packages. So here by using Jupyter, by using pip command, I'm going to install Jupyter Notebook. Pip install Jupyter. Okay, this is the command for installing Jupyter Notebook. When you run this, you must have internet connection so that you can install that particular IDE. So this is one of the process. So to do this, but you must have Python installed in your systems. Okay. So this is the installation process. After completion of installation, you can open the Jupyter Notebook. I will show you how to open. So it takes 2 minutes. After that, we can open it. No problem. So please raise your voice. Okay, okay. So now is it fine? Is my voice is audible to all, clear to all? Okay. So somebody is saying there is some disturbance from my end. Is it getting continuously or
అవునా.
so whoever has visited yesterday, you can use this procedure, but make sure while installing this, uh, you have to can anyone hear our voice? After installing Python, you can use pip install Jupyter command to uh, install Jupyter Notebook. So uh, this is how we are doing it now. Yeah, now my installation has been completed. Let me open the Jupyter Notebook now. So to open Jupyter Notebook in this way, so first let me exit first this command prompt and show you from starting. Now I want to open Jupyter Notebook, right? Open command prompt and type Jupyter space notebook. Jupyter space notebook. So then Jupyter server will be opened. Jupyter Notebook will be opened in the browser. As Jupyter is a web application, so it opens its interface in the browser. Okay. So here you can observe.
Sir, voice clearly లేదా సార్ వాయిస్ క్లియర్ లేదు హైలైట్ చెప్పండి సార్ హలో సార్
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
ఓకే ఓకే సార్
Now
వాయిస్
is
కొంచెం రేజింగ్ లో చెప్తున్నారు సార్
okay. Okay.
ఓకే ఓకే సార్ థ్యాంక్ యూ
Now is it fine? So after opening Jupyter Notebook, open desktop and create a folder. Here, if you observe here, go to the new option and select folder. You can create an untitled folder. So it will create an untitled folder. To rename this folder, so parallel left side you will find a checkbox. Click on checkbox and click on rename, so that you will get option to rename the folder name. So here I'm creating folder name as Python program. Okay, Python programming folder name. This is the folder name. After giving folder name, inside folder we are going to create interactive notebook files. Okay, so in this Jupyter notebook we are going to work on .ipynb files. So but actually the extension of Python is .py files. So the difference between .ipynb and .py is uh, .ipynb in the sense it is of interactive mode, and .py is the script mode. Okay. So after opening this interactive notebook files, open it, creates an untitled .ipynb file. Rename this file. So I am renaming this file with the today's date, 22nd hyphen 12 hyphen 2020. So this is the file name. So you can observe in the browser. You can observe in the browser in this URL the file name you will get. So 22 hyphen 12 hyphen 2020.ipynb. Okay, interactive Python notebook. So all of you, have you all opened this Jupyter notebook? So somebody asking to repeat myself. So what I have told, I will repeat it again, no problem. So here, first I created a node folder. So whenever you open the Jupyter notebook, you will get all these options from our system. Okay, Jupyter notebook opens its server from the system home, system user. Every system has its user, right? Whatever the directories present in the system, we can get visible here. Okay, so that is the reason I'm opening desktop and created a folder called Python programming. So to create a folder, go to the new option and select folder name. Okay, and select folder, so that it will create a folder. So after creating a folder for renaming, click on the checkbox and here After clicking on the checkbox, here rename option will be there, so that you can rename the folder. Okay, so you can rename the folder. So after renaming, inside we are going to create the files. So this is for making the folder store. Okay, after for checking purpose, we are creating folder like this. Okay, so inside the folder, I created a Python 3 file. Okay, so whenever we selected the option Python 3, we will get this .ipynb file. Okay, then this is the file. So initially we will get untitled. By clicking on here, we can rename it. So I hope now it is clear for all. Yes. Okay. Somebody asking, tell me from command prompt. Okay. So let me close the files. So I have closed all the files. So I want to open from command prompt, right? First open command prompts. So in the command prompt, type the command Jupyter space notebook. So this is the command. So then you will get Jupyter notebook in the browser. After that, open desktop. In the desktop, create a folder by moving to the new option. In new option, first select folder option, so that it will create an untitled folder. So for renaming the untitled folder, click on checkbox. You will get an option called rename. Okay. So rename. So I already given the name to the folder and click on rename. Okay. So that you will get a folder with the required name. After creating a folder, open the folder. Inside the folders, we want to create a .ipynb file. So let me tell you what is .ipynb. .ipynb in the sense interactive Python notebook. So in programming there are two modes, scripting mode and interactive mode. So interactive mode is nothing but shell type. Okay, we can execute line by line. We will get the output line by line. Scripting mode is nothing but after writing all the program, we will execute, then we will get the output. That is scripting mode. In Python, scripting mode is .py. So actually, the extension of Python is .py. But here in Jupyter, we are going to create .ipynb notebook files. Okay. So whenever we select here Python 3, we will get the .ipynb files. After that, we can create a Python 3 notebook file. Then we will get .ipynb notebook files. So open this file. So I also completed renaming the file. Okay. So I renamed the file with today's date. Okay. After that, here this is the interface of this Jupyter notebook file. So here you can create number of cells. So you are finding here rectangular box, right? So this is called a cell. So like this we can create number of cells. So for creating cells, go to the insert option, click on insert cell above. If you click on insert cell above, cell will be added above the cell. If you click on cell below, cell will be added below the cell. Okay. I hope yesterday sir also completed all these things. But again I am repeating, no problem. So for adding cells, there are shortcut keys. Suppose once you selected the cell, click on B so that cells will be added. Okay. After clicking on B, click on D two times so that cells will be deleted. So I'm keeping here. Okay. So like this in this cells we can write Python code. Whenever see here, if you observe here, if this option, if this drop down option is in code, then we can write Python code. Print welcome to. So here just I am printing a text message. Welcome to Python training. Okay. Offered by APSSTC. So just I am printing a sentence like a collection of characters, string. So whenever if we want to run this cell, we can click on run option. Otherwise, we can press shift enter at a time. Okay, so that you can run the cells, right? Whenever this is in code format, so you can write Python code. So let me write another Python line in this cell. Suppose like hi hi guys, I am Venkataghosh. Just this is the sentence I am going to print. Okay. So like this, you can run the cells by clicking on run option. After selecting the cell, click on run option. Otherwise, click on shift enter. Okay. So this is important because you need to understand the interface of Jupyter Notebook. Okay. Okay. So how did you get? I hope till now clear for all. After getting new notebook, shall we edit? You can edit the name. So by you will find after getting a new notebook, you will find an untitled name. Click on that untitled name so that you can edit the file. You can edit the file name. Okay. Shows an error while creating a new folder. Okay. So like this you can run the Python code. So here you also need to understand about Markdown syntax. So Markdown syntax is nothing but Markdown is the format for preparing documentation. So this the main advantage of this Jupyter notebook is literate programming. Already change your name. Okay. So if you are facing any issue, not all persons, if you are facing any major issue, you can unmute your mic and you can speak. Okay. So if you are trying to all of you speaking at a time, then it will be disturbance. Okay. So like this, you can run Python code. I hope you all understand how to run Python code inside Jupyter Notebook cells. So I think I am repeating again today it is. I think yesterday Prasanna Raj sir already covered this. Okay. So let me tell you about Markdown format. So the main advantage of Jupyter Notebook is literate programming. Literate programming in the sense we can combine text and code inside the notebook. Okay. So text is for documentation purpose. Documentation in the sense if we want to write any kind of description inside the notebook we can write. So for that purpose this Jupyter Notebook is use it. This Jupyter notebook is the advantage. Okay, so let me tell you how to create Markdown syntax. So to add documentation or text inside the Jupyter notebook cells, so after installing Jupyter Notebook, all of you open command prompt and type the command Jupyter space notebook. Okay. After installing Jupyter Notebook, open command prompt and type Jupyter space notebook command. Then it will opens in the opens in the browser. So right. So this how we can run Python code. Now we want to discuss about Markdown syntax. So when we are going to add text in the cells, you have to set this option to Markdown. Okay. So when you are set this option to Markdown, you can add the Markdown syntax. So see here, uh, you can create headings. So this Markdown syntax is similar to HTML. I hope you all know about HTML. HTML heading tags. So here we are going to discuss about heading tags. Headings can be created in this notebook by using hash. When you increase the number of hashes, the heading font size will be decreased. Okay. So this is the first hash. Okay. This is the first hash. This is the heading 1 and this is heading 2. See, whenever we increase the number of hashes, the font size will be decreased. Heading 6. Heading 1 to heading 6. Okay. So if you want to do this, if you want to add headings in the Jupyter notebook, you can do like this by using hashes. After hash, give one space and write the required heading you want. So you can only write when this option is in Markdown format. You have to check this option is in Markdown format or not. Okay, whenever this option is in Markdown format, then only you can add the text. Okay, so whenever you run the cells, so headings will be created in the notebooks cell. Okay, so these are looks like this whenever we executed the cell. So for execution of the cell, you can click on run option. Otherwise, you can click on shift enter. Okay, so hope you understand till now. Once reply in the chat box. So this how you can create headings in the Jupyter notebook by using Markdown syntax. So whatever the required size you want for the heading, you can give that number of hashes. Okay. Somebody is scrubbing the screen. Okay. So right. Now let me tell you how to create list. Okay. So we can also create lists in Markdown format. So list is nothing but uh, creating text line by line. So it looks like a list elements. Okay. So let me tell you. Hyphen is used for creating lists. Hyphen space list one. So this is the list one element. This is list two element. List two. Hyphen space list three. So like this, you can create any number of list elements by using hyphen. So after that, execute this. So you will get uh, list elements like this. Okay, list 1, list 2, list 3, and list 4. So if you want to add sub elements to the list, you can also do that. So for adding sub elements, give one tab space and again give hyphen sublist 1. Sublist 1. So I'm taking here again inside tab space sublist 2, sublist 3, and sublist 4. Okay. So like this you can create sublists also. So for creating list items, you can use hyphen inside the markdown syntax. Okay. I hope it is clear for you all till now. Shall we continue? Are you all doing this? Okay. Yes. 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 Fine. So some people are following, but okay. Once repeat the list. Okay, I will definitely. So for creating list format in Markdown syntax, you can use the hyphen symbol. So hyphen space, whatever the list data you needed, you can give it. Okay. If you need sublist, you must give tab space, and after that you can start creating the list. Okay, so that you will get the sublist. So for creating list, hyphen is the symbol used. Hyphen space, so you can give whatever elements you are required inside the list. Yeah, somebody Vijay GNT. So he's telling that every time he's telling, yeah, yeah, I will take your issue, but if I'm seeing at your issue only, I cannot tell anything in the class, so that the time will be completed. So that's the reason I'm telling the class. Yeah, yeah, about you only I'm telling Vijay. So if you are facing issue with Jupyter Notebook, if I'm going to tell that, so I will check you check your doubt at the end of the class, so that it will be easy for others. Okay. I think there might be a problem with your installation. So I will check that in the end of the class. Okay, then it will be easy. So if I am telling that now, the class, I cannot deliver the class. Okay, so everything will be uh, time will be wasted. Okay, okay. I hope you are clear with this list creation in Markdown syntax, right? I hope you all clear with this Markdown syntaxes, creating headings and lists. Okay, fine. So now let me tell you how to add Python syntax in Markdown format. Okay, Python syntax in Markdown. So we can also insert Python code in Markdown format. Let's see that how we can do that. So to add Python syntax in Markdown format, so you must check whether the cell is in Markdown option or not. After that, if the cell is in Markdown option, you can start the syntax with three tilde symbols. Okay, tilde symbols. Tilde symbol will be available above the tab symbol in the keyboard. Okay, after three tilde symbols, type the word Python. From the next line, you can add Python syntax. So print of line 1. Line 1 is the first line code in the line. Line 2 and print line 3. So three lines I have inserted in this Python the code. After that, just close the three tilde symbols again. Okay. So this is the syntax for adding Python in Markdown format. Now let's see how the code looks like. Now let's run this cell and see how the code looks. See here. So this code is not executed now. It is just showing. It is just showing in the Python code format because it is added as text in the Markdown format. Okay. So this is the syntax for adding Python code in Markdown format. First start the syntax with three tilde symbols. After that type Python. In the next line you can start writing Python code. After that close the syntax with three tilde symbols again. Okay. Yeah, just above the tab symbol. The tilde symbol will be above the tab symbol. If you not clear with this syntax, I am posting this code in the chat box. You can also observe. I am posting the syntax here itself. So like this, you can add Python syntax. Yeah, below escape symbol or above tab symbol. Uh, tab key, above tab key or below escape key. That is the tilde symbol. So this is about this is enough for us understanding about Markdown syntax. Now let's move on to the Python concepts. Okay. So Python concepts. First, let's discuss about comments declaration, or else let's see about variables declaration first. So after that, we will see about comments. So repeat, please. Okay, I will repeat this. So to add Python syntax in Markdown format, first check whether the cell is in Markdown format or not, and after that, start syntax with three tilde symbols and give the word Python. From the next line, you start writing Python code. At the end, close the syntax with three tilde symbols again. Okay, and run the cell. So I think now it is clear. Okay, fine. Now let's start discussing Python basics. Today we will start discussing Python basics like Python basics. In Python basics, we are going to discuss first variables declaration, variables declaration, and data types in Python. So after that, we will see comments declaration, and we will see keywords in Python. So these three topics we will complete first. After that, we will move on to the next topic. First, we will start with variables declaration. So variables declaration and data types in Python. We will start with this. Okay. So how to declare a variable in Python? So the syntax is variable name equal to value. Variable name equal to value. That is the syntax. So let me write the syntax here itself in Markdown format. Variable name equal to value. Okay. So this is the syntax. So variable name might be, there are some rules for creating variable name. I will tell them, and value might be of any type, of any data type. So let us see about data types. Okay. Uh, First, let's see the syntax for declaring the variable. So after that, we will see uh, data types. Suppose let us say a equal to 10. See here a is the variable name and equal to is the assignment operator and 10 is the value, right? So we have to understand like a is the variable name, equal to is the assignment operator and 10 is the value. So whenever we run this cell, value 10 is assigned to the variable a. So we can, for confirmation, we can display that value by calling the variable name a. Okay. So 10 will be displayed below the cell in the output. Now I am telling that 10 is a integer value. So then how we can confirm that 10 is a integer value? How we can say that 10 is an integer value? Anybody can answer this question if you know. Yes, some of you have answered by using the type. So type, you have to understand about here type built-in function. So type is an inbuilt function used for checking data type. This is important. Data type of a variable. Okay. So type of is the inbuilt function used for checking data type of a variable. Okay, there are many number of inbuilt functions. We will see them further. So up to now, you must remember about type. So by using type inbuilt function, we can understand the data type of the value. Yeah. So as someone of your friends answered, print type of a. So here we don't need to use print function because it is interactive mode, right? Just directly we can use type method. So type of a. These of integer type. Okay, now let's define another variable b equal to 12.7. So now it is of float type. So let's check the data type. Type of b, float. Okay, it is of float type. Floating point means values which are of consisting of points. After the point, uh, after point we will have some values. Okay, floating point values. It is of one of the data type in Python. Now let's see about another data type. Okay, inbuilt. Yeah, inbuilt is nothing but which are already predefined in Python. So now let's declare another variable. Hello. So this is of string type of C. Okay. So like this, we can declare variables in Python. So let's see, declare multiple variables at a time. So is it uh, okay? Uh, is it possible to declare multiple variables at a time? Yeah, it is possible. Let's see it. Let's see how to declare multiple variables declaration. Multiple variables, multiple variables declaration in single line. Suppose let's say here I am taking the serial number as one variable and name as another variable and average as another variable. Okay, so directly we can assign serial number I am taking as 100 serial number and name as Venkat and average as 97. Okay, 97.777. So like this you can declare multiple variables at a time. So this is the syntax for declaring multiple variables. So now you can call the variables. Serial number is 100 and name is Venkat and average is 97.77. So you can observe these three are of different data types. So that is also one of the advantage. Okay. So we can declare multiple variables of different data types in a single line. So that's also you have to remember. I hope you all clear till now. Is it clear till now? Fine. So now let's see some variable rules. Okay, variable rules. So what are meant by variable rules? Do you know any of the variable rules? Variable rules. Variable uh, must start with alphabet or underscore also can also start the variable with underscore. Okay. So for example, let us say we will get confused here. So let me tell it in the brackets. Okay, I'm keeping alphabet or underscore. I will write the word underscore here and in the alphabet. So underscore uh, h equal to 7. Okay, like this the variables can be started. So variable must start with alphabet or underscore. So variables cannot start with cannot start with numbers. Okay, so when the variable is starting with a number, you will get error. Let me show you. So first let's see h underscore h equal to 7. This is a valid variable. Okay. So if you call the underscore h, you will get the value 7. See, not hyphen h, underscore h. 7. So whenever you are going to call the variable, create the variable with starting with number, you will get errors. Syntax error. Okay. So variables cannot start with the numbers. So you have to remember this thing. So variable rules are important. Cannot use space in between the words. Variables are case sensitive. Yes. So your answer some of are correct. Uh, and variables, but you can start the number. You can start the after the alphabets. You can give numbers. A1 equal to 8. So when you call the A1, you will get 8. So after the alphabet, you can give number. So that's not an issue. This is a valid variable. Okay. So you can also have, so you cannot have special symbols before the variables. See, it is a invalid syntax. You cannot have special symbols uh, before the variables. You can have only underscore. You can also you cannot have hyphen also. Hyphen j equal to 0. So this is also invalid. So you can variables must start with alphabet or underscore symbol. 0. Somebody is saying that can we start the variables with 0? Let's see. We will get error because I told you that you cannot start the variables with numbers. Now, uh, some of you just respond in the chat box. First respond. What are some valid variables? So all of you post your answers in the chat box. First all of you post valid variables. Yes, A123 is a valid variable. What are valid variables? A underscore 533, good. A underscore 1, double underscore ABH, right. These are all valid variables. Very good. So now let us post about invalid variables. What are invalid variables? What are invalid variables? Post some of invalid variables at the rate 2, 0a, 7j. Yes, these are all invalid variables. So now you are all clear with this, I hope. So this is about variable rules. Okay. Yes. Yes. Python is case sensitive language. Yes. Python is case sensitive. So now let's start seeing about data types. Data types in Python. So till now uh, we have seen integer data type, integer, float, string, and there are sequence data types. Sequence data types are list, tuple, and set. Set is not sequence data type. It is of one of the other data type. Dictionary is also one of the data type in Python. Dictionary and set, boolean. So in boolean we will get true or false. Okay, these are all data types in Python. Okay, so we already seen about integer, float, string. So now let's see the data types Let's check the data types of these list, tuple, dictionary, set, and true or false. Yeah, frozen set. Good. Frozen set is also one of the data type. Dictionary, list, right? Correct. Yes. So there is, I think, particularly there is no char data type. So, but it is also considered under string data type. Yeah. Let's see about the type of list. Suppose let me create a list b equal to 1, 2, 3. This is a list. When the data is stored in square brackets in Python, it is a list. Let's check the type. So type of B. This is of list type. Suppose let me tell you about tuple. So when we see the data in parentheses, it is a tuple. Type of C. Okay. So these two are of also considered under Python data types. Now let's see about dictionary. Dictionary D equal to. So now let us forget about the what is dictionary, what it contains. I will explain in the further topics. So let's check the data type till now. That's it. Type of D. Okay, dict type. List, tuple, and dictionary. Now let's see about set. Set is different again. Suppose G equal to set. Okay, this is about set type. So type of Z, right? So these are all data types. And anything we miss it, boolean, true or false. You can check the type of true. Bool. Okay, that is the data type. Type of false. Okay, this is of boolean type. So this are about data types in Python. So if you are having any questions or doubts, you can ask me. What is the difference between dict and set? Yeah, yeah. That we will discuss in the further topics. We will explain more that in further topics. We are having dictionaries concept. Yeah, Vijay is asking that. I'll repeat again. Okay. So there are different data types in Python. We already seen about integer. Of for integer values, it is of integer data type. 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Those are all comes under integer data type. Float. Float comes under floating point values like 7.3, 4.6, like that. All floating values. String. String is nothing but a collection of characters or a single character also comes under string data type. Coming to sequence type. Sequence type in the sense the data is arranged in this sequence in sequential order. That means the data is having positions. Okay, index positions. That is called sequence data. List and tuple are of sequence type. So list is data in square brackets. Okay, and tuple is data in parentheses. So we will see the differences of list, tuple, dictionary, set in further data structures concept. So at the time we will discuss them. Now you just understand about the data types. That's it. Okay. Dictionary. Dictionary is the data gathered in flower bases and it consists of key and value. So we will see more information about the dictionaries in further concepts. And it is of set type. Okay. Data in flower brackets with only elements called set. Okay. Dictionary contains keys and value pairs. Key and value pairs. Okay. That is the difference. And boolean type true or false. Okay. Now is it clear? Okay. Yeah, this is about variables, declaration, and data types in my Python. Shall we move on to the next topic? That is comments declaration. comments declaration. Now we will discuss about comments declaration in Python. So in comments declaration, we are having two types of comments: single line comments and multi-line comments. Okay. So in single line comments, the syntax is hash. By using hash symbol, we will use single line comments. We will declare single line comments. Coming to multi-line comments, we will use three single quotations starting and ending with three single quotations. In the middle, we can whatever the comments we need, we can. Okay, ending with three single quotations. So this is the syntax. Comments declaration in Python. Yeah, complex data type. Somebody is telling about complex data type. Yeah, definitely we will use this notebook files. Okay, sure. Somebody is asking about complex data type. The complex is nothing but it will have imaginary values. So that is of complex data type. So, 2i plus 3j, 2i, that like that kind of data is called complex data. Suppose let us say, let me tell it here now, k equal to or else some s equal to 2i plus 3j. Okay, now let's check the data type. So we are having the error, so invalid syntax. So let me tell you about help function. Whenever you are facing any issues, you can go with help function. Complex, yes. Complex real equal to imaginary equal to. Yeah. This how you should use it. Yes. So complex of real equal to and imaginary equal to. Suppose let us say s equal to complex of real equal to 2 and imaginary equal to 3. So IMAG 2 plus 3j. Okay. So this is about complex data type. You can check the type here. Complex. So now let's start this in comments declaration. Comments declaration are of two types. So comments declaration are of two types: single line comments and multi-line comments. Let's first see about single line comments. Suppose let us say here I am creating first single line comment. Okay. So this first line is commented because we started the line with hash. So don't get confused with Markdown hash and this Python hash. Markdown hash is for headings, and this Python hash here the symbol is for commenting single line. Okay. Suppose print uh, this example is for single line comments. Okay. So here the first line is commented. That's why it is not executed. In the second line, we got the whatever the string we given, we got that. Suppose if I remove hash here, we will get error because the first line is just it is a text there, but it is not a Python code. That's why we are getting error. Okay. So if I commented this, the line we will get the output. Now let me write another line. Welcome. So if I comment this particular line, second line, then I will get the third line output. If I didn't commented this second line, I will get two strings in the output. Okay. Somebody is disturbing the screen. I don't know why it is coming. Okay, because I'm also new for this Zoom app meeting. Till now we have used only GoToMeeting for the sessions. So somebody is um, so please don't do that. Okay. Uh, so like this we can comment the single lines. We should start the line with hash symbol. So then the line will be commented. Okay. So this is about single line comments. Suppose now let's start multi-line comments. So multiple lines. I told you that this string, this sentence, this sentence is in multi-line comments. This will not be executed. Now let's write Python code, a single line. This is example for multi-line comments. Okay. Here, there are three lines in the uh, multi-line comments. Those three lines are not getting executed, but the last line is getting whatever the string we have mentioned, that is getting okay in the output. Hope you understood this. Now is it clear? Is my audio? Is my voice clear? Okay. Is this clear? My comments declaration for all clear. So, or should I explain again? So, if you are having any doubts, you can ask. Okay, once repeat. Yes. Okay. So there are two types of comments in Python. Okay, single line comments and multiple line comments. Single line comments will be declared using hash symbol, and multi-line comments will be declared using starting with uh, uh, three single quotations and starting with three and ending with three single quotations. Suppose if you observe here, uh, in this cell, the first line is commented using hash symbol. That line will not be executed. On the second line, this is a print statement, print function. So it displays the string, whatever we mentioned inside the print function. And the third line is also commented, right? So this, whenever we execute this cell, we will get only the second line output because the remaining two lines are commented by using single line comments. Coming to here, the first three lines are commented using multiple line comment syntax. So multiple line comment syntax starting with three single quotations and ending with three single quotations. So now we can also comment multiple lines using starting with three double quotations and ending with three double quotations. So this is in this way also. In this in this way also we can create multiple multi multiple lines comment. Okay, print example for commenting multiple lines using double quotations. Okay. So example for commenting multiple lines using double quotations. So I hope now it is clear for all. Yes, yes. You can either use single quotations or you can also use double quotations. Either anything, anyone, single or double. Now is it clear for all? Comments declaration. Yeah, yeah. I will tell you Vijay now. I will tell you that. Don't worry. There is shortcut key is not there for comments. Comments you must follow the syntax to comment single or multiple lines. Okay. Now comments declaration has been completed. Shall we move with the next topic or else shall we close? Shall we move with the next topic or shall we solve the installation problems? So some of you are facing installation problems. Okay, okay. So Vijay, can you share your screen? Can you share your screen so that we can solve that? So you told that you are getting errors, right? Okay. I'm stopping my screen sharing. You now share the screen. Yes, Vijay, you can share the screen. Is there option for you to share the screen? Hello. Is there option for you to share the screen? Right. So which error you are facing? Which error you are facing? Okay, I will tell how to install Jupyter Notebook. There are two ways to install Jupyter Notebook. That's why you can install a Jupyter Notebook by using Anaconda, and also you can also install by using Python. After installing Python, you can also use Jupyter Notebook. So have you installed Anaconda yesterday? Okay. So then open Anaconda Navigator once. Open Anaconda Navigator once. Okay, then I have to see your problem. I have to see your screen
Sir.
problem. Then I have to see your problem by sharing your screen. Otherwise, we cannot solve that error. Why you are getting that error? Yeah, somebody is trying to speak. You can. Eclipse. Eclipse. Uh, Actually, our program is Python for data science. So when we are going to handle with data science issues, it's better to use Anaconda software only. Okay. So it is not required of Eclipse. So it is better to use Anaconda software. No, don't go with Eclipse. Yeah, yeah, video links you must ask with the host. They will give you. No problem about that. Okay. So let me share my screen now. So shall we continue with now with which topic? I think keywords. So shall we continue with keywords topic? Is my screen visible to all?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay. Uh, Fine. So let us discuss about the keywords topic. So anybody can tell me what is the use of what are keywords actually? What is the definition of keywords? So what is the advantage of keywords? So keywords are reserved words which convey a special meaning to the interpreter. Okay. So there will be some predefined words in for every programming language, so that particular words can be used for inside the programs. Okay. So in Python there are keywords, 37 keywords. I think 35. I think. So let us see them. Um, that now we will see them. How many number of keywords are available? No problem. Let's see. Help. So by using help method, we can observe the keywords. Help is the let me tell you about help function. Previously, I don't told you. Help is an inbuilt function which is used to it is used to understand about inbuilt modules or functions in Python. Okay, so by using help, we can understand the description of inbuilt modules or functions. Okay, so by using help, we can now get the keywords. Keywords is not different. Okay, or else you can do like this. First, run the help interpreter. After type keywords. Okay, so these are all list of keywords in Python. Now let me tell you what are the each keyword does. So you know that false and true are boolean values which are used for a boolean type of data. When we require the true or false, so then we can use this true or false keywords. So for checking conditions at the time, we can use true or false. Like none, none is the null data. Whenever we require none values, we can use this none keyword. And class is used for creating classes and objects. Okay, in object oriented program we will use class. Okay, from is for modules. When we are importing modules or packages, we will use this from keyword. Or or is the logical operator. At that kind of situations, we can use this or keyword. So def is for the defining functions, and del is for deleting the data, so deleting the variables, and is the logical operator as alias names, elif conditional statements, if, elif, and else. So you can observe in C programming you will find else if keyword, but coming to Python you will have elif. Okay, that is the difference. Elif and else. So these three keywords are for conditional statements, and import is the keyword used for importing the modules in Python. Okay, and return is the keyword used in functions. Okay, to return the output of the function we will use return keyword. Raise, try, exception, accept. So these are all used in try exception. When we are handling with errors, we will use all this. Okay, lambda is the keyword used for creating functions. Okay, yield is also keyword used in generators. Break is the keyword used in iteration. For is the keyword for loop. Okay, so like this, we will use all these keywords in programs. So don't worry about these keywords. We will discuss while discussing about the concepts. Okay. Are you all clear up to now about these keywords? I think I am unable to I am unable to find your messages. I don't know why. So you are giving messages. No, I am unable to see your messages in the chat. I don't know why. Uh, is it clear till now? One such one. Just a second. I will share my screen again. Then I think I will get. I'm stopping the screen share. Okay. So you people are telling yes. Are you clear till now? What I have told? Are you all clear till now? Okay, fine. Uh, so this is about keywords. There is nothing much about keywords. Uh, so when we are going to create programs, we can understand that. No problem. Vijay, I already told you. If I want to see, if I want to show the installations, I have to give you screen sharing. Okay. So if you are Can you share? Then only I can solve that installation, our installation as well. Once you do one thing, you once uninstall the Anaconda software in your system and try to install it again. I think then the problem will be solved. If it is not installed, if it is not installing, then I will tell you tomorrow. Then you'll see. So he's keeping some link. Let's see it. Where it is. Yeah, here is the process for installing Jupyter. I think you can do it by this way. Yes, I already told this thing only, right? In the starting of the class, I told this one only. Okay, for you not working, then I have to check your problem with in your system. Then only I can understand. Otherwise, I can. So somebody asking, let me explain the keywords again. So keywords are the reserved words which convey a special meaning to the interpreter. So for every programming language, there will be some predefined words for creating programs. Okay, like in programs there are different kinds of concepts like functions, iterations, like creating classes. For all those purposes, there will be some predefined words. Okay, so specific words will be there. By using them, we can create the keywords. So here we are going to display the list of keywords available in Python 3.7 version by using help method. Help is an inbuilt function which is used to understand about inbuilt modules or functions. Okay, in Python. Here is a list of Python keywords. Okay, every keyword has its own purpose. Like for creating classes and objects, we will use class keyword. For working with modules, we will use from keyword, import keyword. For working with iterations, we will use for while. Okay, we will use that. Like we will use lambda for creating functions. For creating conditional statements, we will use if, elif, and else keywords. Okay, that's it about keywords. So after completing this, if you want to get out from this help interpreter, you can type here quit. So then we can leave from the help interpreter. Help to Python interpreter we will get. We are now leaving help and returning to the Python interpreter. So just type quit in the rectangular box. So this is about keywords in Python. Hope you all clear to me. Bro, you are not getting the keywords dialog box. Maybe once restart the Jupyter notebook. So go here, go to the kernel option and restart. So after restarting it, type help in the rectangular box and click on run so that you will get the rectangular box and enter keywords so that you will get list of keywords. After that, you can type quit. Okay, now you will get once restart the kernel, then you will get. Okay, so from tomorrow class we will continue. If you are having any doubts in today class, you can ask. you are having any doubts, you can ask me. Yeah, we will do this notebook files, Jupyter notebook files. We will share to you, but not now. At the end of the training, we will share. Yes. You can do like this. Import keywords, import keyword dot kw list. You can do that like that. Yeah, Vijay, I already told you. We have to uninstall your Anaconda software and try again reinstalling it. Okay. Mobile, it is not good to play. Okay. Yeah, this training will be, I think it is for 1 month till 16th January. So now you can ask your doubts. Somebody is asking for both 3.7, both keywords list as well. Yeah, you can check that. So in this way, you can check and you can find the length of the keywords. How many keywords are there available? You can count them. That's not a problem. Okay. So if you are having any doubts, you can ask now. In the previous class or today class, no problem. After Jupyter installation, have you listened today's class? What I have done that you have to do. Okay, if you missed, somebody is telling you want to create a notebook file, Python 3 file. Go to the new option and select Python 3. Then it will create an interactive notebook file. Okay, so in that notebook file you will find cells, rectangular cells. In that cells you can write code, Python code. Here somebody is asking about the fifth full form. It is performance improvement plan. Okay, performance improvement plan is nothing but you can install the advanced packages which are available. Okay, performance improvement plan. So, yeah, command prompt will be available in every Windows operating system. Yes, when you are going to create heading using hash symbol, you need to make sure whether that this option is in markdown format or not, and after that you should use hash. After that, give one space and start writing heading. Okay, then only you will find the change. No, markdown is only for Jupyter notebook. Ideally, it's just for programming, so you don't find all these markdown syntaxes in ideally. Shall we do that? Shall we all? What meant by syntax? What meant by syntax means syntax is nothing but just it is a pre-built structure. We can also call it as structure syntax. Fine. So if you are having any doubts, ask me. Otherwise, you can leave the meeting. If you're not having any doubts, you can leave the meeting.